Jungkook regrets HYBE's decision, Taehyung takes a shocking step. What really happened? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we dive into this emotional storm, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss the stories HYBE doesn't want you to hear. Because today, we're uncovering what really happened behind that polished curtain. And let's just say, not everything is as perfect as it seems. It all started with a silence. Not the usual silence of rest or planning. This silence felt heavy. Calculated. The kind of silence that creeps into a room just before something irreversible happens. For months, fans noticed subtle shifts, fewer group activities, cryptic captions on Instagram, less interaction between the members. Especially between Taehyung and Jungkook. Something was brewing. And now, it's boiling over. In the heart of Seoul, behind HYBE's glass walls and digital buzz, a decision was made. One that Jungkook reportedly tried to oppose. But his voice, usually so powerful on stage, was dismissed. What was that decision? According to insider reports and subtle hints dropped in V-Lives, it had to do with creative control and, more importantly, with Taehyung's autonomy. You see, Taehyung has always been the quiet storm of BTS. Charismatic yet mysterious, he's the kind of artist who speaks more through glances and gestures than interviews. But beneath that charm is an independent spirit. One that doesn't like being caged. And HYBE, they tried to clip his wings. Allegedly, the company imposed restrictions on Taehyung's solo activities, whether it was limiting the release of certain tracks, blocking a conceptual short film he'd been planning, or even denying collaborations he deeply cared about. One of these rumored projects included an emotionally raw piece tied to his time in the military, something that meant the world to him. But HYBE, worried it didn't fit their branding strategy, shut it down. And this is where Jungkook comes in. Unlike Taehyung, Jungkook has always been more adaptable, more willing to flow with the company's vision. But not this time. When he learned what was happening, something in him snapped. Multiple sources claim he confronted executives directly. One staff member, who chose to remain anonymous, allegedly described the confrontation as intense, filled with emotion, and deeply personal. Why did Jungkook care so much? Because it wasn't just business. It was brotherhood. Their bond, forged over a decade, goes deeper than music. Remember their trainee days? When they'd walk the snowy Seoul streets with only dreams to keep them warm? Jungkook once said, "Taehyung was the first to make me feel like I wasn't alone." So watching his brother be silenced, pushed aside, it wasn't something Jungkook could accept. But in the end, HYBE's decision stood. And that's when Taehyung took a shocking step. He went quiet. No cryptic tweets. No poetic captions. Just silence. Then, just weeks later, a move no one expected, Taehyung filed for partial rights to his solo artistic content, independently. That's right. He moved to separate a portion of his creative work from HYBE's umbrella. The whispers were everywhere. Some claimed he was preparing for a full break. Others believed he was drawing a line, forcing HYBE to see him not as a product, but as a person. But the truth? It's more complex. And more painful. What we do know is this: after that move, Jungkook became distant. His usually bright interviews dimmed. In one live stream, fans noticed his smile fade when Taehyung's name came up. He paused, looked down, and simply said, "I just wish things were different." What did he mean by that? Did Jungkook blame himself? Did he feel that if he had pushed harder, spoken sooner, maybe Taehyung wouldn't have felt forced to take such a drastic step? One source close to the group revealed that after the incident, Jungkook isolated himself for a few days. No rehearsals. No social media. Just silence. A reflection of Taehyung's. It was almost like a silent protest. Two souls bonded by music, now separated by the very system that made them stars. An army, you noticed. You always do. Twitter exploded with speculation. Are Taekook okay? Why is Jungkook avoiding questions about Taehyung? Is HYBE hiding something? Maybe they are. Because if this was just a creative disagreement, why the secrecy? Why the media blackout? Why the sudden tightening of contracts around solo activities? And why is Jungkook, usually so controlled in public, now visibly emotional when discussing freedom and art? There's one particularly haunting moment that many fans point to. In a recent interview, when asked about what freedom means to him, Jungkook hesitated. Then, almost as if choosing every word carefully, he said, "Freedom means not having to fight for what should already be yours." He didn't mention names. He didn't need to. That single sentence echoed louder than any headline. And it gets even more intense. It gets even more intense when you start connecting the dots, because Taehyung's step wasn't just a creative rebellion. It was a message. Not just to HYBE. Not just to Jungkook. But to the world. A message that said, I won't be controlled anymore. And while that may sound poetic, it came with a price. Contracts. Tension. And yes, distance. Fans started noticing something else too. Taehyung's interactions with certain friends in the industry increased, especially with artists known for being fiercely independent, like Park Hyo-shin and IU. One backstage video showed Taehyung discussing something intensely with IU, his hands moving animatedly, his eyes sharp. Could he have been seeking advice? Was he planning something deeper, his own label, perhaps? Or even a creative collective outside of HYBE's reach? Meanwhile, Jungkook's emotional unraveling continued. In one behind-the-scenes clip from a solo stage rehearsal, he was caught on camera pacing, headphones on, whispering lyrics to himself like a mantra. But then, a pause. He sat down. So, ARMY, what do you think happened behind the scenes? Was Jungkook too late to stop it? Did Taehyung break free, or break away? And most importantly, will they ever find their way back? Tell us in the comments. Share this video. Let your voice be heard. Because this isn't just about idols. It's about freedom, art, and the silent wars we all fight when the spotlight turns off. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. More untold BTS stories are on the way.